Hi, a few of my little Patreons. Thanks for your continued support. Right, we're off to a false start there. Take two. See what's going on. Oh, no, I can't see my stream on my computer.
Me neither.
Yeah, that's live. We're there.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about the false start. Thanks for rejoining, if you did so. Super stickers are now enabled, whatever that is. I just got a message. Vegeta is also in the house. Dan Bifano. Lorraine Edie's in there as always. Vegan Trucker Lady. Hi, lovely. Cowboy Bebop. I'm getting messages that just look the same anyway. Dope. Soralala. Good afternoon. As I said, I've stopped listening to Infinite Annihilator to listen to this video. Oh, thank you. Infinite Annihilator, eh? Sounds like a good, wholesome thing to be listening to. Oh, hi, Graven, baby. Babies. Lewis Gado's in the house. Oblivion 1. Martha's in the house. Oh, yeah, I've not even liked my own stream. Let's do that. How is everyone? What have you been up to? I'm sorry I've not been around for a couple of weeks. Yeah, so we flew out on the Friday to Tenerife on holiday, and I just forgot that normally I'd be streaming on the Friday night. Oh, is that right?
We were coming back on the Friday.
No, we're coming back on the Friday, I missed it. And why didn't we stream the week before?
I can't remember.
I thought that was something to do with something. Anyway, we couldn't stream, but I should have let you guys know, and I didn't. So I'm very, very sorry about that. Robert Pacino's in the house. Kathy. Pietro. Knight Gunt. Jer. Mum of many. All their familiar faces, you lovely people. Warrior of Legend. Cookie Hunter. I can't keep up with all these people. Michael Askew, Dust Kolb, good morning from Arizona. Cowboy Bebop, did you see Dr. Clapper's LGDHA update on YouTube? Yeah, is he sort of against it at the minute, isn't he, I think? Yeah, I think that's the case. Don't really know what to make about that, to be honest. Bayshaw's roof cleaning's in the house. Oblivion's not enjoying college. The Warrior of Legend, if it isn't the vegan Incredible Hulk himself. Lorraine, how are the puddykins? Where's our cats?
They are sleeping together in the bedroom.
They're sleeping together. Well, I don't know if that's allowed.
They're friends now.
They've made friends after years of trying to claw each other's eyes out. Billy Bow Magic Show's in the house. Soralala, by the way, my mother is vegan. She's 77 and she went to Tenerife a month ago. Nice. I sent her your Tenerife video and she said, thank you. It's a very useful video. She'd like to go back. Nice. It's lovely there.
Tell her to go to Casa Divina.
Yeah, Casa Divina.
It's the best place.
Yeah, guest house. We had a lovely time. What was I going to say? I would be up for living there, except that it's so mountainous. It's hard enough to walk around, let alone cycle. No one cycles there. No one. We saw about 3 bicycles the whole holiday, and basically this was like high up a mountain. They were like serious mountain bikers, and they'd driven to the spot where they wanted to cycle from. So, yeah, I like to get around on a bike. So that's that one out. But the climate and the people and the produce and whatever, very good. Yeah, nice scenery.
I liked how you could see the sea pretty much from wherever you were, like on the island.
Yeah.
You see other islands and you can see the sea. Oh.
Is this on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably not pills. How are me and Gemma this evening? I'm very well. I'm pleased to be back streaming after a couple of weeks off due to unforeseen circumstances. Well, not really. I just didn't think about it. How are you, Gemma?
I'm good, thank you.
She's good. And how are you, more importantly? Why has this jumped? Vegeta is funny. Thanks, Liam. Dan Bifano, does it mean when I'm asked where do I get my protein, if I follow it up with looking at their belly and asking where do you get your fibre? Not really. I think that's fair comment. Probably not pills. Are you loving Frank Tofano's recent content ripping on vegan bodybuilders? Guess you have nothing to say about you. Yeah, I was quite surprised. Billy Bow Magic Show, Omega 6, talk to me. Double the price, that's why they call me Terry Tibbs. Yeah, Omega 6, we need some of it. It is an essential fatty acid. It does, it helps us to make inflammation when we need it. So, if we've got an infection or something, you may need to produce inflammation in the body. But what you don't want to do is take in tons of it and be in a constant pro-inflammatory state. So best to get it from the plant version, from your nuts and seeds. And then when you get like pre-made animal, like arachidonic acid, like the long chain version, there's a lot of people walking around with a lot more pain and disease that they didn't need to have in them if they weren't eating all that arachidonic acid. Incidentally, there is a plant version of arachidonic acid, did you know? Some strains of seaweed have it, which is where they get it for vegan cat foods. Interestingly. Well, I thought so anyway. Rose Cuts in the house. Matt Talbot, Star Cycle Gang. You just couldn't get around this. It's mental. Rose Cut has started skating. Very nice. I hope you're looking where you're going while you're messaging on here. Didumch. The Warrior of Legends. Mr. Paul, I have a question. Well, y'all better ask somebody. I'm somebody, so you ask me if you want to. I say ask now instead of ask. Rebecca Campbell, hello, fellow vegans. Hello, you. Thanks for joining. The YouTube. Hi, Hench, what are your thoughts on iron supplements? If you're eating a calorically adequate whole foods plant-based diet, and you're getting the different types of foods in, particularly your greens and stuff, I think for an average person, when I write a nutrition plan for someone, even on a low amount of calories, they get about 3 times the RDA of iron, so it's a non-issue. Iron is, preformed heme iron is terribly, it causes oxygen-free radical damage. They're really horrible free radicals. What are they called? Hydroxyl radicals. They're probably the worst one you can get. So you don't want your iron to be too high, basically. So any supplement really, other than the big sort of 2 or 3 that you do need to supplement or conditionally need if you're not getting sun. Other than that, you're best to steer clear of supplements and just eat the whole foods. It's all in there. It's not hard, but you just need to eat the range of things. Greed is in the house. Happy Sporty Vegans in the house. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? Good to have you on board. Comment Hero, how's the bulk? It's going pretty damn good, thank you. What did I weigh in at this morning? 107.5 kilos. I normally weigh in stones, but I happen to see it in kilos. 16 stone 10 or something. So, I've basically put on a couple of stones since finishing my diet about 10 weeks ago. So it's going pretty good, thank you. Oh. The warrior of legend. Can someone be vegan / plant-based in Venezuela unless they don't have any grains, legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds? I'd say the answer is probably yes. It is harder in some places than others, obviously. Bayshore, rib cleaning, how to get a pescatarian to go vegan, how would you convince them? As with anyone, I really see what their sort of drivers are. So whether it's health or ethics or environment. One time I got someone on spirituality. So I noticed in our conversation they were using words like sort of synchronicity and vibration and all these sort of resonate, all these sort of words that that spiritually minded people use a lot. And so what I said to them was, you can eat dead animals, but that's like real low vibration food, or you can eat like fruit, which is like a living plant food, which is high vibration, and boom, was all I had to say. So yeah, really, see what their driver is. For me, it's health, and so I would speak to the industrial pollutants that end up in the sea. You know how the sea is the sewers of mankind. Everything ends up there. I'd explain about bioaccumulation up the food chain. So you got plants which soak up a little bit of these toxins. Little fish eat the plants. Bigger fish eat these little fish their whole lives. Bigger fish still bloody blah, all that malarkey. And then there was a statistic about your average fish eater eating like something like 11,000 pieces of microplastic a year. And that's hormone disrupting. What's the word for that? Xeno estrogens and whatnot. Yeah. Someone has kindly donated £1.99 on the super chat. Paul Taylor, you lovely man. Love your stream and your channel. Not a question to ask, just being a lovely, lovely man. Now, I had a friend back in the day who was a doorman called Paul Taylor in Norwich, but I'm guessing that's not you. But either way, thank you very much. You're very appreciated, helping me to live my purpose. Let's go back a little touch more. Captain Cave Crust. Been vegetarian since 1985, went vegan 16 years ago. Never go back. Always for the animals. Cheers, brother. Keep up the good work. And you keep up the good work too. Nice job. Delibor, that's a bit heavy. I know it's muscle, but still, yeah, it's not a healthful pursuit. I don't really recommend it. And really, nowadays, I do it to be a good advocate for animals, because everyone, the number one thing, where do you get your protein? I just figure if I'm twice as muscular as anyone who says we need meat for protein, then, do you mean I've not really got to say much? I'll just go have a vegan t-shirt on and I've like won the argument already. But yeah, no, it's not healthy. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Good point. The vegan chocolate ladies put up a book, What a Fish Knows. I've not heard of that. That sounds interesting. Paul Taylor, £1.99. Any tips to help become vegan? I'm vegetarian. What sort of foods are you struggling with? A lot of people, it's the cheese. And not so long ago, and there still are some bad ones about, but not so long ago, all vegan cheeses tasted like plastic. Nowadays, there are some really good ones. I highly recommend Tyne Cheese and Nutcrafter Creamery. They have a whole range of delicious firm and soft cheeses. And they are made with cashew nuts, so they're heart healthy, versus brands like Violife, they're full of coconut oil, which is a worse risk factor for heart disease than beef fat, believe it or not. So yeah, I really told people to avoid coconut oil. I went vegan because I didn't want to be the cause of my own death. Every third person who eats animals gets heart disease. Well, the biggest killer of vegans is still heart disease. So it's coconut oil, it's palm oil in processed junk, and it's cocoa butter. So cocoa, cacao nibs, beans, cocoa butter. if you've known this channel for very long, you've probably heard me say this a million times, so apologies in advance, but cocoa powder is the one processed food healthier than the whole food because they take out a lot of these long-chain triglycerides, which give us heart disease. Cheese and butter mainly. Yeah, so there's no real good butter alternatives. They will be like hydrogenated. But what I will say is avocado, just like sort of mash up an avocado and spread it on, works just as well. Homemade hummus, yeah, you can use as a spread. That's good. Oh, here's a little cowboy.
Oh, there's several good spreads in our ebook coming out. Loads of different hybrids.
Did we tell you we've got an ebook coming out? There's a link in the description. You can pre-order now for £1 off the retail price. And it's very, very good.
And I've got a thought about look into the industries of making the products that you still are eating and really educate.
Yeah, watch the video Dairy is Scary by Erin Janis. That's very good. Yeah, just when I see, you know, when they take the calf from the cow and the cow might be like running after the lorry or whatever with the calf in, and that, you know, they grieve for like 12 weeks, like really grieve. So that will help inspire you. And then in terms of milks, there's like probably 30 different types of plant milk now. Again, I would swerve coconut milk because of the long chain and very long chain triglycerides. But all the other ones will be great. I hope that helps.
Some nice recipes that you like.
Get yourself some nice recipes that you like from our forthcoming ebook.
Or
Where do you get your protein? Or other places. The vegan trucker lady has kindly donated $9.99 on the super chat. Lovely lady that she is. It's a great book that talks about the intelligence of fish. Funny thing is, I'm losing weight and for the same reason you gain muscle. Nice. Yeah, you can do all on a vegan diet. Well done, you. Oh, what was that book called again? Something about a fish. Oh, I've missed it now. Anyway, that sounds really interesting. Fish are the one animal that people really struggle to connect with, aren't they? And I think it's because they don't have expressive eyebrows. They can't scream. If I sat down next to an angler and got like a puppy out of a bag and stuck him underwater, like the angler would possibly punch me in the mouth, yet they will pull fish out of the water, you know, to like say they're going to take them home and eat them and whatever. And it's the same thing, isn't it? What a funny, funny world. You can be both paid for and put in prison for harming animals, depending on what they look like. I mean, how prejudiced is that? It's bonkers. It's a cat's bum. Anyway, thanks for that, vegan trucker lady. I really appreciate your kind support. Regita is saying that oat milk is his favourite at the minute. I love oat milk in coffee. I think that's the best coffee. It makes it really creamy. Jay, that's it, Jay. Will you ever do some live debates on the channel with other nutritionists, diet pushers, etc.? Not really drawn to. Probably not. I do these like contentious like critique videos, like response videos, and really it's not me. Like, I just don't like the negativity and like the head bashing. It's really not me, but it helps grow the channel well quick. But you know, someone like a Bart K, he would be so irritating and he would be so rude, and I think you would never speak to me like this face to face, and it would just do my head in. So yeah, I just wouldn't want to. Then you get people like Sverage who like won't let science come into it. So the sort of best available evidence that we have today. Like, how can you win an argument with someone who is that? It's like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you're just doomed to fail from the word go. You know. Some people are too thick to know when they're beat. That's what I'm trying to say. Michael Askew, Sprout pea milk is so good. Yeah, I've seen that. I've not tried it. It's quite new, isn't it? Lynn Ritchie loves a bit of hummus. Went vegan from Sammy Veggie Pescatarian at the end of August. Nice. Well done. Vegan Rich PT. Hey, I love hummus. Have you ever used it as a pasta sauce? Yeah, just thin it out a little bit.
Oh, that's lovely.
I think you mentioned that in our book.
I did.
Yeah. All about that. Castor Troy, what is your opinion on white sugar? McDougall says he has healed his patients from type 2 diabetes using white sugar. Yeah, so the point is to cure type 2, it's intramyocellular lipid, so it's fats inside the muscle cells. So if you're not putting these saturates in, and really I suppose you want to be on a fat, but like a calorie deficit, so you're burning like fat off. And yeah, if you're putting in carbs, like that's... So it's not that the sugar is healing, it's that it's displacing fat, which would be harming. But, you know, white sugar, it's got no nutrition, it's got no fibre, so it's feeding pathogenic gut bacteria. And then your just potential for good health is just... It's the linchpin, it's really the cornerstone of good health is our gut microbiome. The good guys eat fibre and resistant starch from insoluble fibre. The bad guys eat everything else. So you're just feeding the bad guys, and why would you? You know. But I think it just proves the point that it's not a disease of carbohydrate metabolism, it's fat metabolism. Someone kindly donated 79 UK pence. Laura Lulu Watts, thank you very much. You're very, very appreciated. Thank you. Everyone's so lovely. Right. The Phlegm Face is in the house. Awesome YouTuber. Check out her channel. She's a lad. Not a lad, but she's got lad status. You'd have to be in the know to like get it. It wasn't a criticism.
It wasn't sexism.
Where are we? Nomadic Hobbit brings up a good point. Why am I so bloody amazing? We're just born this way. Thank you. Oh, Purple Piplup's in there, perplexing people. Come here.
No.
Hi, Purple Piplup. How are you, lovely? Bohemian Bee's in the house. She's saying hi to the chip thief. Actually, they were Gemma's chips, to be fair, so that's why I didn't tell her off. But there was my chickpeas unit day.
I was meant to be concentrating on the video.
Heads will roll. Samson Jones. Hi, Hench. What do you think of garlic and onions being prohibited food by Buddhists? Is that right? Is it Buddhists in particular? I know some... couple of belief systems, they say not to have those because they're too stimulating or something, or, you know, if anyone's talking from a nutrition standpoint, then I would say, like, when that was the idea was developed, like, there just wasn't the science. Like, there's no science now to say it's, but the only science is saying that they're really like healthy and protect you from cancers and things. So yeah, I think it's probably a bit daft, but
Buddhists don't eat them, and
I don't want to poo-poo other people's beliefs.
some people don't eat them because they're smelly, and then it affects the way that they smell. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's meant to be overly stimulating. And I've heard some people say that it's like toxic or something. I mean, there may be like a compound or two in there that are... I've heard that there is a... what's the word for that? When it's mutagenic. Apparently there is a mutagenic compound in garlic, which is cancer-causing. So if you looked at the reductionist science, you could say, oh, don't eat garlic, it can cause cancer, it's got this particular compound. Well, if you look at the science, garlic is one of the highest performing, possibly the highest performing produce against cancer. So always back up and look at the whole picture rather than getting right down into the weeds and looking at the little details. This is where people like Bart K et al. Go wrong. Graven Babies, do you have a PO box for fan mail? Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, you could send anything to do you want to write this on for me?
Yeah.
It's Phoenix Gym, units 2 to 3. Or was it Oak Street first?
I'll look it up and I'll post it.
Gemma will look it up in a bit and post it. But it's Phoenix Gym in Norwich, basically. Yeah, if you put Hench Herbivore on there, like someone will pass it over. Thank you. I've read a couple of bits of artwork before. That really touches me when people go to that effort. It's really nice. Number gaming, is any of what Swearidge says accurate? If you get everything that Swearidge says, flip it exactly the opposite way, you won't go far wrong. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Paul Taylor, what is your favourite vegan junk food? Don't have one. Don't have one. Do I?
Gluten-free rolls sometimes.
Yeah, gluten-free rolls. Well, that's not really junk, but it's not a whole food. Yeah, I just don't do junky foods. I don't enjoy them anymore. I think when you eat so well for so long, yeah, you just don't. Yeah, kale chips. I had some earlier and yesterday. The kale chips I made yesterday, well, they're in my when did I put that video up? Yesterday? Yeah, so my newest video, kale chips, cheese and onion kale chips. It's just kale, nutritional yeast, cashew butter, onion powder, little garlic powder, little salt, little black pepper. Delicious. They taste like cheese and onion crisps, but they're not killing you. That's my 2 cents. Jim Eldred, hopefully my friend will eat the pizzas that just cooked and say how very nice, meat spoiled, plant-based. Nice. That's always a good way to go about things. Ask people how they enjoyed the food before you drop that on them. Comment Pie, do you take DHA or EPA DHA? Dr. Clapper recently stopped recommending it. Thoughts? Yeah, I can't remember why he said not to have it. Is there some data about, something like a 13% increased risk of some sort of cancer or other, potentially? But what I will say about that is, well, what is the initial risk? And if it's 0.03 or something, then there's percent of what? Some people have a genetic defect whereby they can't elongate the ALA into EPA and DHA, and there is a definite benefit to having 250 milligrams of DHA a week over not having it at all, which is why sometimes fish eaters can't come out in some ways. It's something to do with the Adventist health trial, and the pescatarians outperformed the vegans somewhere. And my suspicion was they weren't supplementing DHA, so that's where they got that little benefit. The Plant Jedi, what kind of pre-workout food shake do you go for? So I just eat normal meals. I'll eat just a normal meal 2 hours before I go and train, hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's in my small intestine and into my bloodstream rather than sitting in my stomach if you go like too soon. Pre-workout, coffee. So caffeine does about 6 real good things to help our performance. I've forgotten probably half of them by now, but it's obviously drive, focus, pain mitigation as well. It does several things. I've heard it said that caffeine is the best legal bodybuilding drug. I've heard that said before. So yeah, I'll have like 3 teaspoons of coffee currently before I work out. And beetroot juice, 140 ml, 2 to 3 hours pre-workout, and you get big pumps, you get vasodilation, so more blood flow, and you have more stamina as well, you'll notice. Do you know, I've not got back on the beet juice this bulking cycle. Yeah, maybe I ought to get it in me.
Yeah, get it in you.
Get it in me. Do you know what I might do is get powder rather than the juice, so it's not so voluminous.
Did Vivo Life do a beetroot powder yet?
No.
They should.
Volume. Do you like my new Vivo Life t-shirt, everyone? Link in the description, givers. Yeah, righty.
I love it when you say that.
Handrin, top foods for brain power. I don't really know. Walnuts are meant to be good, aren't they? They look a bit like a brain. And one of those medicinal mushrooms, lion's mane mushrooms. They're good. But basically, you know, whole plant foods in general, omega-3, so flax and chia, DHA algae supplements. What you don't want to be doing is putting in atherosclerosis forming animal foods. So there's the amyloid plaques that build up, and obviously the general atherosclerosis can lead to stroke. I think Eskimos have something like double the stroke risk of other of Americans,
I think
something
you
like
meant
that.
to say Inuits these days.
Inuit, sorry, not Eskimos, Inuit. Oh, that just showed my level of terrible stupidity.
Well, it was that way for a very long time.
That's true. John Jackson, what's your take on adding beans to your smoothie, like chickpeas or cannellini beans? Yeah, brilliant, do it. As long as you've got plenty of sweet, like fruits in there, you won't even taste it. Purple Piplap is good, which is what we like to eat. Right, I'm miles behind, so I'm going to skip forwards a bit. If I miss your comment or question, do put it back in the chat, and hopefully I'll see it the next time.
Those vegan guys are here.
Those vegan guys, check them out on the YouTube. They rock. They rock. God damn it. Right, Treyo's World, best foods or supplements to battle fatigue. Again, whole plant foods, high carb, lower fat, like your blood will be less like sludgy. What is it called? Lactesins. Is it lipidemia? It's called. Basically, when your blood gets filled up with like fat, you know, it's kind of like you're diluting your ability to carry oxygen so well. Adaptogens. But really, like, you know, we go straight to food and supplements. Really, like, if we're not getting enough sleep, like, that's number one. So, you know, it's all the thing. This is like a holistic thing. So good sleep. Hydration is important. Really, really important. If you're dehydrated, you'll feel sluggish and tired. Really, obviously, caffeine will give you a short little boost, but then that drains your adrenal glands, so you shouldn't really go too mad on that. If you have hurt your adrenal glands, then things like, what's that called?
Oh,
Licorice root,
ashwagandha.
ashwagandha, these sort of things, yeah, they can help like nourish them. Yeah. Probably some of the medicinal mushrooms. I forget which is the sort of revving up one now. Vegeta, is there any way to donate to you without Google taking part of it? Patreon. There's a link in the description box of the video, and thank you kindly. I really appreciate you, my friend. Gary Graham, your t-shirt is jiggling my eyeballs. Vegan for life, good man. The Plant Jedi, that is a cool name. Wow, coffee as a pre-workout is awesome. Yep, it's good stuff. I go a bit silly on it though. I'm better off trying to completely get off caffeine, but I always get back on it again. It's my bugbear. I just can't do things in moderation, it seems. Ampy, why so many bodybuilders are bald? Is it only an impression of mine? I don't think that there's any more shaved-headed bodybuilders than like the average population. But one reason bodybuilders do shave their head is to do with proportions. So like back in the day, there was a bodybuilder in the 80s. I forget which one now. He had a massive afro that had the effect of making his shoulders look smaller, like relative. So when he shaved it off, he suddenly looked a lot more sort of hench. So if there are any extra, maybe that's a thing. If they are actually bald rather than having a shaved head, can be that they're taking a lot of steroids, which some of those can make you lose your hair. Yeah. There was some sort of particular one, Proviron, that was meant to be particularly bad. I think that was the one. Paul Taylor is going to buy that shirt. Good man. Discount code in the description box. Don't say I never give you anything. Nathan Hartley, average spend a week on food. Oh, that's a hard one for us, isn't it? It's quite a lot, but we buy from different places.
At least 150.
At least £150 a week.
Yeah, probably more. But we eat enough food
Probably
to feed
more.
a family. Between
Yeah,
us,
I'm
so-
doing about 5,000 calories at the minute.
Yeah, I'm doing 2,400.
Yeah.
And we eat all clean, whole foods, and we buy things like dried mango and stuff, which is really expensive.
Oh, I can have that for supper, can't I?
Yeah, that's coming soon. Somebody asked a question about what snacks we like earlier, and I was thinking you don't like snacks, but I was thinking, oh, well, no, with meals you have it. We have a lot of forest fruit mango and naked bars.
Forest fruit mango and naked bars, and we get Lidl own brand naked bars. Sometimes the flavouring's all like up one corner there, and it gets a bit harsh. Yeah, it's not the best quality.
Don't buy the cherry bakewell flavour.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah. Boom Tendo. I have heard of studies that suggest coffee drinking extends your life, though. I know of studies to do with suicide, and the more coffee drinking had an inversely proportional relationship with the amount of suicide. So the more coffee you drink, less likely you are to commit suicide, up to like 8 coffees a day. I mean, like, there's pros and cons, like either way, several, you know, it's a bean, you know. In fact, apparently the average American gets the biggest amount of antioxidants from the coffee that they drink, you know, because they drink so much and eat so little of like the healthy foods. So it is a bean, so that does have healthful benefits, but it's also a neurotoxin. So the reason your body heats up, your heart rate goes up, you start sweating, is because your body is trying to expel it from your system, because it is poisonous. So swings and roundabouts. I would say if you can keep it to like a moderate amount, probably good. I mean, there is a cost. You know, if you're drinking coffee, like you could have drunk some matcha or some hibiscus tea or something like more nutritious, but it's all right. But there's pros and cons, you know, it's not cut and dried. And for some people like myself, who tend to just overdo things, it's probably doing me more harm than good by this stage, I should think. Matt Talbot, if you take it, have you seen any benefits of ashwagandha? I've taken it at times, and you know, I take so many things. It's really hard to say. I can't say I noticed a particular benefit, but that's not to say it wasn't there. What about you? Have you used ashwagandha for hormone balancing?
Licorice root. Yeah, I think I did notice feeling less tired over
Yeah.
time, like my adrenals were covered.
Yeah, possibly helped replenish Gemma's adrenals.
But
So
again, hard to say, obviously, you know.
Right, I'm just going to skip forward a little bit. Ferangel Sepulveda's in the house. Hi, thanks for your hard to pronounce name there. You like to make it difficult for me. Oh, Walid Mograbi kindly donated £1.99. No question, just out of the kindness of his heart, helping his local neighbourhood YouTuber spread the vegan message. So very appreciated. JS, did you hear the news about America's largest milk company possibly facing bankruptcy? Yeah, I sure did. That made me smile. And in the article that either preceded it or came after it, it was the Mars company saying that they're bringing out a range of vegan Galaxy bars. So, yeah, that was interesting to see those two, one after the other. Leon Kutstra, I heard they already filed for bankruptcy. That was my understanding. I think Plant-Based News did an article. AA asks, what sort of food do I usually eat? plants. Typically, like most of my meals are a legume, a whole grain, a lot of different veggies, a little fruit, little nuts and seeds, plenty of herbs and spices. That's how I roll. I have a couple of scoops of Viva Life Performance Protein as well, being like a bodybuilder. Back when I was a omnivorous bodybuilder, I actually used to have 6 protein shakes a day, I think.
Oh, wow.
At least 4. I ate 500 grams of animal protein a day as a non-vegan. What was I thinking? Red vegan, that t-shirt makes my eyes fuzz. Oh, wow. Layet kindly donated €50, is that? I'm guessing. Thank you very much. That's really, really generous. I love you. Keep fighting the good fight, as tough as it often can be. Vegan greetings from Berlin, Germany. Thank you so much, my friend. That's a real beautiful of you to do that. I want to visit Berlin one of these days. Not that everyone in Berlin knows everyone else in Berlin, but is that where Patrick Baboumian is? He still living there? Hopefully, I will. Yeah, he asked me to come and do that festival, didn't he? But that changed. But yeah, that was Berlin.
For that festival next year.
Yeah. Thank you so much, my friend. What a lovely person. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'd love to visit Berlin. I've heard so many good things. Yeah, let's go over it. I hear like the biggest festival is there. It's called Veggie World or something. Can someone put me straight? Yeah, let's get over there.
Yeah.
Cool. Patrick still lives around here. Yeah, nice. Very good. Yeah, she'll come over at some point.
What a kind donation.
Yeah, what a lovely donation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Produce not pills. You should visit Ferdinand V Gaines if you visit Berlin. Do you know, we're thinking of getting over to Bali at some point, because they're all there at the minute, aren't they? Like the half of the Vivo Life sort of crew. It's so cheap to live. It's amazing. And it's lovely weather. The only thing I don't like about it is going to be the plane. It's harsh, isn't it? Like a long haul flight.
Well, when you're your size, it's a lot harder.
When you're my size, it's like twice as bad. Paul Taylor, have you ever been to Devon? Yeah, as a lad. Embarrassingly, I had a couple of those cream teas with the odd clotted cream. Yeah, beautiful area though. Really loved it. Is that where you live, Paul? The Phlegm Face, what a big donation. Damn, eh? Indeed. I can't believe people are so lovely. What other vocation in the world would that be a thing that, you know? It's like if you do good in the world, the universe seeks to reward you, you know? And, you know, I could, without all you guys, like I'd be in the gym just shouting numbers at people like all day, every week, you know. And don't get me wrong, I do love PTing and, you know, it's very fulfilling. You see people get their goals, reverse like diseases because of the nutrition as well. But doing this, I can reach like millions of people, you know. So this is so important to me. So you guys, you know, just showing up, so the channel's growing, and so that allows me to do passive revenue streams with merch and, you know, affiliate marketing, and then like a massive super chat like that just really warms my heart and makes me excited for the future and to be able to really, you know, do something in my life. I was eating more animal products than anyone you've ever met. Honestly, I've not met anyone who ate more animal products than I did. And, you know, this is my way of redressing the balance. So I'm so grateful. Right, I'm getting totes emotion. Let's move on. Brooklyn Dossie, thanks for all you do. My partner has transitioned to veganism now. Greeting from Atlanta. Nice. Thank you for your kind words and good on them. Just a bit of chatting about the differences between vegan and plant-based. some people have sort of different ideas, don't they? And it can get sort of awkward. I kind of use both, depending on who I'm speaking to. You know, sometimes the V word can be sort of a dirty word, but if I'm trying to show people the health benefits of whole vegan foods, I will use the word plant-based foods just to sneak that in. And then later on, I'll speak to veganism as they're sort of warming to it. And some people, when they say plant-based, that they mean mostly plants. Like I think really the true definition of plant-based means everything's plants, but some people still take it to mean mostly plants, but some animal products. So I think there's confusion there. When I first went vegan, but I didn't first go vegan. I first went whole foods plant-based for my health. You know, later on I found out what we do to animals. So then, of course, I became vegan. But at that time, I didn't really know the nuances, and I called myself vegan because I ate vegan food. Although I was still eating honey because I didn't know much better. But yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? The use of language and the little nuances, and sometimes it makes things sort of quite contentious. Crazy PTV, have you seen the Brian Shaw, Patrick Baboumian beef? Yeah, I think I'm up to date with that. The last thing I saw is Patrick said, yeah, we'll do a squat challenge. So I don't know if anything's happened since that, has it? Colby Murray, what is your trick for switching up proteins? I don't really know what that means. Do you mean going from animal-based to plant-based? Or I don't really know what you mean. But basically, you know, what we need is amino acids. If you eat the range of whole plant foods, you know, they're all complete proteins. Some will have more of certain essential amino acids than others. But if you're eating a calorically adequate diet, if you're eating the range of different whole plant foods, it's really a non-issue. Like, we keep pools of free amino acids, and they just look after themselves. It's not something to concern yourself with. Despite what they said in the February 75 issue of Vogue magazine about, protein combining and all that malarkey. Lloyd Christmas, you beautiful man, $7 Canadian on the super chats. What shows and movies do you and Gemma like to watch? I'll let you field this one.
Oh, we currently like the show Heroes.
Heroes.
We started watching that.
We're on season 4 of Heroes.
We really enjoyed Fringe, didn't we?
Fringe.
We like Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers, despite it being a burger joint. We pretend it's vegan burgers.
Yeah, and Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. We were a bit naughty. We saw season 4, episode 1. Someone had uploaded it to YouTube, so I'm sorry about that. I was a naughty boy and I watched it.
We don't watch TV, do we? Just some shows on Netflix.
Yeah, just a bit of Netflix now and again.
That's about it at the moment, is it?
Yeah, I think that's about it. Personally, Vikings, I was just so in love with that show. And Peaky Blinders. I actually hung out with Harry Kerton, who plays Finn, a couple of times. We shot a video for Veganuary. Then I bumped into him at Veg Fest. He's really lovely. I went off him for a while. I had my sort of spiritual, what I would call like a spiritual awakening from going vegan and then seeing like humans are another animal. So why do I want to get wrong with people? Can I step back from ego? So I'd say I had a bit of a spiritual awakening, and then I went off kind of violent shows. But over time, like, I've come to just see that as entertainment and not necessarily something bad. And yeah, I kind of really like those shows. Yeah. The Last Kingdom as well. I thought that was good. I like sort of medieval type period stuffs. The Happy Sporty Vegan, very amazingly, has donated 10 whole UK pounds. More ingenious ideas of using air fryers, please. Yeah, we've really got into it. We're a 2 air fryer household. And we love. Yeah, we'll keep them coming. I think people are quite interested in air fryer recipes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look into it more. I'll tell you who's got some good recipes is Cheap Lazy Vegan. Although we did rip off half of them, so you might have seen them already. Thank you for that donation. That's really kind. Thank you. Everyone's so blinking lovely. Brooklyn Dossie loves watching Bob's Burgers. It's not just us then. Graven Babies is into Xena. I used to love a bit of Xena, Warrior Princess. Colby's with me, with the Vikings. Line of Duty is amazing too. I've not seen that one, can you imagine? Paul Taylor, I've been vegan 8 years.
7.5, 8 years, I don't know.
8.5 for Jem, I think. Michael Lasky, by order of the Peaky Blinders, go vegan. Oh, I love that show so much. Leon Kutstra, Patrick proposed a squad competition in March. Looking forward to it if both agree to the date. Oh, squad competition. Oh, nice. House Vibes is in the house. Cordocuvus, opinion on high carb, low fat vegan diet. It's how I ate initially when I went vegan. I think it's got some great disease preventing, treating, and even reversing properties. For a strength athlete, or sort of someone trying to build muscle, or a physique athlete, we probably we do need a bit more protein than your average bear. So you will have to go at least sort of moderate protein. You don't need high protein at all, but you need like a moderate amount, maybe 1.62 grams of protein per kilo body weight on a bulk, and more like 2 grams per kilo of body weight on a cut. Seems to be what is optimal. Like you wouldn't need more than that, and any more is it's probably harmful. Probably that amount of protein is harmful anyway. I don't think the science is really all there. But what I will say is the longest lived people on record, the Okinawans of the 1940s, they ate 85% carbohydrate. It's like 7 or 8% fat and protein. So I think some people may run into trouble if they're like 80-10-10 and say they're on a diet and that they're really small, really low calories. I think they may run into an issue of inadequate fats with which to build hormones. So I think that's a thing. So people look at percentages, but sometimes like total like grams needs to come into it as well when you're going like the low end. So typically, for the average person, say they're maintaining, probably 10% of calories is fine. I tend to go about 15% of my calories from fats. On the bulk now, actually this year is the first time I've gone higher than that. I'm probably 20-25% of my calories is fat. Vast majority of it is from nuts, seeds, nut and seed butters, avocado, but still it's probably not the healthiest. Again, it's not what the Okinawans were doing. So I could be taking one for the team there. I tried to, no calorie restriction, high carb, low fat. No calorie restriction. Some people got away with that, I think, but they were athletes, people like Freely and Durian Rider. So they could get away with that. And also, there is some science to suggest that you can't absorb all the, is it fructose, I think? So, they might look on paper like you're eating like a kilo of carbohydrate, but maybe you're only eating like, 600-700 grams of carbohydrate because you can't absorb that much fructose at once. I think that's a thing as well. But so there's a True North clinic in Santa Rosa in near San Francisco in America, and they're some of the top people for reversing disease in the world, and they're high carb, low fat, but they are starch based. Are they a step up or a step down from McDougall's approach? McDougall's not quite as strict as them, is he?
McDougall is okay with a little sugar, a little salt, and a little oil. They're one of those things.
So they're at the extreme end of high carb or high starch, low fat, and they say, because Gemma actually stayed there and was treated for like a time, a month and a half. Were you there? 2 months. 2.5 months. Yeah. Wow, how did we survive that? So Gemma was there for 2.5 months, and in that time she saw all sorts of disease reversal and lovely stuff going on. But they said that they've never seen a healthy, long-term fruitarian. Did they cite like some sort of liver damage?
Well, they thought that the fermenting of all the fruit was too harsh on the liver.
Yeah.
It sort of would be like alcohol.
Right.
I can't remember exactly what they said, but too harsh on the liver.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd wonder. I mean, it must depend how long it's in there doing that for. But
yeah.
So Corducovest is saying, from what I saw, you can gain weight and fat from anything, but carbohydrates are the hardest, nearly impossible. I wouldn't say that. I bet it's harder. Basically, carbohydrate is the one macronutrient which we can burn off by way of dietary thermogenesis. And I'm doing it now. I'm like burning up, and it's because I'm smashing in so many carbs. I wouldn't say nearly impossible, but I do get your point. And probably with fruits, particularly if you're just going with the do you mean another thing is caloric density? So, you can be eating unlimited calories from apples or unlimited calories from medjool dates, which are a fraction of the size, but like the same energy. So, do you know what I mean? I think if you account for the calories, I don't agree that it's nearly impossible, but I do entirely get what you're saying, and I think to a degree, like you're sort of right. Just my opinion, for what it's worth. Zedman the vegan, would you make a video of vegan versus meat-based bodybuilders carrying water, land, carbon footprint, like the big difference in environmental friendliness? Yeah, that would be a good video, wouldn't it? I don't know that I'm really savvy enough or sort of interested enough in environmental stuff. I would like to see that video though. I'll tell you who would do that well would be Mike the vegan. He'd do a lovely job of that. Paul Taylor, I don't quite understand why people can eat McDonald's. It's not meat, is it? So the beef in McDonald's burgers is basically spent dairy cows. That's what that is. Probably it's not pills. They are salt, oil, sugar free at True North. Dr. McDougall only promotes salt and sugar to get sad eaters to eat the plants. Yeah.
The sugar that helps the medicine go down.
The spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. Connor Hughes, what's your definition of a fruitarian? As I know, a YouTuber has been for years. Seb Cam. Not heard of them. So normally, like a fruitarian is all fruit, but then some like salad greens and things like that. That's my understanding. Castor Troy, what's your favourite Alan Partridge episode? Oh, I love all of them.
There's sex people in, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, they're all good. I don't know that I can think of one which stands out.
They do it on purpose, Lynn.
They do it on purpose, Lynn. Yeah, we better not talk about that scene. Yeah, I'd say I love them all equally. I think the first series more than the second series. So just 2 series? I think there was. Chris Grant, fruit is perfect for snacking. That's very true. Corducovest. So if you take sugar, associate carbs for athletic performance, the way you take protein for cyclists, for example, what do you think? It's going to be causing harm, It's feeding pathogenic gut bacteria, which that's the linchpin of our health. We need to just be feeding the Prevotella strains, really. So, yeah, it's not a health food, is what I'll say. If I wasn't bodybuilding, I certainly wouldn't be putting in, processed protein powders either. But each to their own, you've got to balance out longevity, how disease averse you are, and sports performance and how important like your physique or your sporting prowess is. Crazy P TV, what do you think of Shotokan karate? Well, I did it for 12 years. It's good hard training. The way it's taught nowadays by most people, like, it is just BS. So, after World War II, you know, Westerners are training with these people, and like these Japanese, you know, they're not going to be showing you the actual real technique because, you know, we've just been sort of bombing them to death and whatever. So, yeah, it's sort of misunderstood nowadays, basically. But yeah, I'm a fan. The only real big criticism I have of Shotokan is that it's virtually no pads and you have to pull your punches. So when I first went to kickboxing and I did this lovely gyakuzuki, like basically a cross in boxing, and just touch and then I'd stop and then I'd get my head kicked in because it's not points fighting, you know, it's full contact. And then so I trained more kickboxing, went back to karate with no gloves and knocked a couple of people out by accident because then my reflex was to follow through. And in fact, when I first worked the doors, I just came mostly from a karate background, and I got wrong with this guy, and he had like a glass, so I struck him in the arm, like disarmed him, put a couple of shots into his guts, but because I was training to pull my punches, like it was ineffectual, and then I sort of realised what was going on, and sort of did something about it, but I could have come unstuck there. You get what you train for. You get what you train for. And if you train in semi-contact, like likely that's what will come out in the heat of combat, and you really don't want that. Oh, Crazy Pete TV kindly donated €2. Iodine for vegans, also iodine and mental health. What are you going to say? Yeah, iodine sources for vegans. So seaweeds are your best bet. 1.5 sheets of nori, half a teaspoon of Dol's flakes or orame flakes, 1 1/8 teaspoon of wakame. Like the tiniest bit of kelp powder. Like they're so rich, it's easy to OD of iodine in kelp powder. Don't know if it's like 1/16 of a teaspoon or something. Oh, ridiculous. Sorry, excuse me. Low power. Help if I turn the charger on. Yeah, so seaweed, really, if you can't stand the taste of seaweed, then like a supplement. Some people have iodized salt, but probably you don't want to be putting in loads of sodium, whatever that's called. What's the word for table salt?
Table salt?
Table salt. I forgot the word. So it's like sodium, but it's attached to something sort of nasty, isn't it? Sodium chloride. Oh. Yeah. So I say nay on that. In terms of mental health, iodine and mental health. Well, basically, iodine is the building blocks of thyroid hormone. So T4, the storage hormone, is 4 iodine molecules stuck together. When your body wants to have the active version, one of the molecules is released to make T3, and that is the hormone that gets into the tissues that does the action, you know. And your thyroid is like your body's sort of thermometer, and it is in control of so many systems: warmth, libido, brain function. So yeah, if you're low on iodine, you would probably be quite depressed and whatnot, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you could definitely be. Yeah.
Yeah. So 150 micrograms is the minimum RDA. I think toxicity occurs at something like 10 times that. So I typically shoot for about 300 micrograms, so double the RDI that the government says, but nowhere near like the max dose that you would have to be concerned. Right. Lovely. That's our little hour stint. Guys, thank you so much for joining. We'll be back on next Friday at the usual time. Try and get a video up for you this weekend. Thank you to the lovely moderators wielding your spanners so adeptly. Thanks for the mega super chats. I missed the super chat. Yeah. Oh, let's do that. El Hasawi, £1.99 on the super chat. Vegan and I do CrossFit. Which one do I tell people first? So that is like a sort of joke, isn't it, that people say? But is that what you're doing? And yeah, so most CrossFitters are the old paleo diet, aren't they? And there's was a video recently on nutrition facts. I think it was a throwback Friday. So from today on nutritionfacts.org, saying how that diet can actually hurt your sporting prowess. So maybe you want to show them that. Guys, thank you so much for joining. If you're new here, we'd love you to become part of the Hench Herbivore community. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button, clicking the bell icon so you're notified of new videos and live streams. And I love you all very, very much. Thanks for joining and keeping me company.
And it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from me.
Good day to you, sir and madam. Why didn't it finish? That was embarrassing.